So these Zoom links have limited time sometimes. So we have 40 minutes today. So we want to get started so we can get as many questions in as possible and get you the information that you guys want. So thank you guys all for coming. My name, for those of you who don't know, is Jason Cockle. I am a retirement counselor here. And between Christy and I, we've met or spoken with all of you at some point. While we can't do that right now, we feel it's very important to stay connected with you. And this is one of the ways that we can do it through these virtual events. So Christy and I will be monitoring this event, or moderating this event. And we have hopefully 3 people on our panel, but 2 are here right now. We'll introduce them in a minute. I don't know if we'll have time to get to your questions, but we do encourage you to go to that chat link and type in any questions you have. Cooper will be monitoring that. And if we do have time, we will get to some of those at the end. If we don't, Christy and I will follow up in an appropriate way to make sure that we get all questions answered. And with that, Christy, do you have something to add?
I just want to thank everyone again for taking the time from the convenience of your own home to stay connected with us. We feel like that is so important. For us, it's really great to be seeing a few of our residents' faces as well. We are all doing the best that we can during these times, and gosh, really appreciate you being willing to connect with us virtually.
All right, so the first thing we're going to start off with, and I'll take Rob's part if he's not in initially, but is have each of our residents that are with us today, so there's 3 of them, introduce yourselves and tell people how long you've been at Summit Vista. Paula, you still are on mute. We'll start with Barbara. You go ahead, Barb.
Okay, I'm Barb Warden. I've been here since November 7th. It was supposed to have been October, but it got moved back because the unit wasn't ready, of 2018.
Yep.
Yeah, 2018. So I'm one of the originals, I guess. I moved up here from Las Vegas. Initially didn't want to come because here they have that 4-letter word that starts with an S, snow. And I had lived in Las Vegas for 25 years, so I was a real desert rat. And but my youngest daughter and her family lives in Harriman, right up here. So anyway, what's initially sold me were the wonderful covered walkways. So if it snows and I want to walk from the residence over to the restaurant area, the clubhouse, I never have to step outside. It stays.
Take Barb off mute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my story.
Thank you, Barb. And Paula, how about you?
My name's Paula Coring, and my husband and I have been here since October 12th of 2018. And we moved here from 3 miles down 6200 south. So.
And Rob, who hopefully will be joining us soon, has been here since October of 2018. He moved from South Jordan, not too far away either, him and his wife. So let's get started. The first question I have for you guys is, what do you feel is the greatest value to living at Summit Vista in your roughly 1.5 years that you've been here?
I'll take that first. I love the fact that I don't have to worry about anything. I'm a widow. I've been a widow for 15 years. Had lived in the same house, had to worry about a pool, yard, anything that broke down, and it was just a lot. Just a lot. And here, knock on wood, I haven't had any problems here, but if I were to have problems, I would just simply call for support and they come and fix it. It's wonderful. absolutely wonderful.
How about you, Paula?
Well, for us, I think it's kind of the same thing. We everything's taken care of, and we're well taken care of, I might add. And
Yes,
when we moved in here in October, wasn't too long after that, of course, that we started having those nasty winters. And Chris would just look outside and say, "I don't have to go and shovel that. I don't have to go out there." And then the same thing with, when it comes time to wash the leaves out of the rain gutters, it's just none of that is, and we have a beautiful yard, and we don't have to do anything to have a beautiful yard, and it's just an amazing lifestyle.
it's like living in a resort almost. We're just totally taken care of.
That's great. And Rob, I see that you're on your iPad. Did you hear that question?
I didn't hear the question, but I can't even find myself on here. I don't know that I'm on here yet.
You are, so you're good.
You're here.
We just can't see you, but that's okay. The question was, what do you feel is the greatest value to living at Summit Vista?
Well, financially, it's a great value to start with. I thought I was really cracking a tight nut in my residence, but once I got over here, it got even better. And so I don't have the unnecessary surprise expenses in a home. I know exactly what I'm paying every month, every year, and I'm able to manage that a lot better.
Great. Thank you, guys. Christy?
So several of you talked about, what was important to you when you moved in to Summit Vista, and how you don't have the hassle and the worry and the cost. My question is, talk to me about some unanticipated benefits that you've had since moving in. Paula?
Well, I think that for sure is the relationships with the people in this community. They have gone so much deeper than I would have anticipated. And these people really have become more than friends. They really are family. And it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's not neighbors or friends, as Paula put it. It really is family. And just as an example, I don't know if Paula would bring this up, but we never knew each other before any of us moved in here, for the most part. But last spring, Paula and her husband and two other widows and myself started talking about taking a trip together. We all seemed to get along. Well, we did. Last August, the 5 of us hopped on a plane and we went to Portugal for 10 days. Had never known each other before. We had moved in here, and we had the most phenomenal trip ever. Absolutely terrific. And we're planning on doing it again. Obviously not this year, but
If we can ever get on an airplane again, we will do it again.
absolutely. It was just terrific. Just
Yes.
terrific. We still talk about it.
It was like we had been together our whole lives. And
Yes.
it really was.
What about you, Rob? Did you hear the question?
Yeah, repeat the question though.
So the question is, above and beyond the home maintenance and not having to deal with that hassle of home ownership, talk to me about some unexpected benefits that you've had since moving into Summit Vista.
Okay. Well, right off, what's top on most people's list is the food here. So my diet has gotten better tremendously. And because my diet's better, I'm not only eating the wrong things, I'm eating the right things in the right amount, but my health has gotten a lot better since I came here. And I thought my health was pretty good, but my blood pressure's gone down, my strength has gone up, my weight's gone down a little bit. And it's just doing things that we all do every day. And so health and my diet is probably my number one unexpected thing that's happened to me.
So what impact has that had on your life, Rob?
Well, I feel a lot better. I feel like I'm more active now than I used to be, and I was active mowing the lawn and doing yard work and stuff. But what's good about here that I didn't realize that I have more time to do the things I want to do instead of do the things I have to do, and so that translates to me as freedom, and I can pick and choose what I want to do, and I'm doing the right things. Summit Vista makes that possible.
Great. Thank you, Rob. Jason?
We will get to the obvious elephant in the room and the times over the last month and see how Summit Vista is compared to folks being at home. But I do have another question. As people who have, and this is for all three of you, so we can start with Barbara again. As the three of you who've been through this entire research and move process, what advice do you have for those people who are interested in Summit Vista?
Just go with it. That's all I can say. I mean, don't stress about anything. This is just another step in your life. And I moved around a lot. My husband was military, a 30-year military man, so we moved around an awful lot. But the last 25 years, I had stayed in one spot. We had retired in Las Vegas. And the moves, so you clean everything out. You know, you downsize, you bring what you want, and you just don't worry about, you bring your memories with you. I think that's what the important is, but you're also going to make new memories here. You're going to make terrific memories here, even in the short period of time that we've been here.
How about you, Paula?
Repeat the question one more time.
Christy and I often hear about the downsizing and how hard that is. And I've been in my home for 40 years. So as a person who's been through that entire research move process, what advice do you have for those interested in Summit Vista?
Well, I think Chris and I, compared especially to a way that a lot of people had researched and done here and done there, we were almost impulsive. We bought right into it and have never regretted it for a minute. But people tend to say, well, I don't think I'm old enough for that yet. I'm going to wait. You know, I'm not old enough for that yet. I'm going to wait. And I used to tell people that living here was like living on a river cruise, but that's not such a great connotation right now. So this is more like living in a resort, like Barbara said. And, you know, you're not giving up. You don't have to give up any kind of lifestyle that you have, that you're living, that you enjoy. You just get to get rid of all the stuff that really holds you down when you have all that stuff. I found places in my house that I didn't even know I had places to hide things. So I just, during this time that we've kind of been staying in our apartments, I've re-downsized. I went back through every closet, every drawer, and it's wonderful. You know, don't wait. That would be my advice. Don't wait until you can't enjoy every aspect of living here.
And if I can just interject too, this is not an old folks home. I mean, we kind of among ourselves will laugh about, oh, we got to get back to the home now or whatever, but it's just a joke. None of us feel old here. There is so much to do between the pool, the fitness center, the activities, there's pottery, there's just kind of everything that we would want, that we forget that we're part of the elderly. And it's just wonderful.
How about you, Rob?
Well, my story is a little different because I was a very skeptical person because we started looking at Summit Vista through brochures, and there was not, the ground wasn't broken or anything, and I started going to those classes. And I just, it took me about 4 or 5 times to think, well, maybe there is something here. And so I started being more interested in looking into it. And then I eventually put down the money, the $1,000, was it, for the Summit Vista Club?
Yep.
And with it being 100% refundable, that was just a no-brainer. And so I would encourage, I don't know who's on here that doesn't live at Summit Vista now, but I would encourage them to just continue to do research. And if it's not just an easy thing to decide, and you want to really weigh the factors, research, ask the hard questions to you and to Christy and anybody here. But I will say Summit Vista is so easy to get to know. They're open, they're transparent. I went to a lot of other places and I would talk to the girl at the front desk and you know, I just didn't get the right information, but Summit Vista is very open about that. And then on the downsizing, I know that was a big hurdle for me because we had a big house and big shop and all that stuff on the property. And we just started, at first I thought it was impossible to do. I felt like just burning the house down and moving. But we decided just to take one small room at a time. We didn't even worry about the rest of the house. And then we downsized, cleaned out that room. We brought a garbage can into the room and threw stuff into the garbage can. Then we went to another room. And then it took about a year for us. And after a while, it started getting fun. It started becoming easier. And then I could see the light at the end of the tunnel that, yes, maybe we don't have to live in this house forever. And we can improve our life. And that's what happened. It took a while. And some people, it doesn't take more than a month, but it took us a while. But I would just encourage anybody just to keep doing the research and asking the questions.
Yeah, thanks for that. And we encourage the same thing. We've met with many of you guys many times. We want to meet with you again. We think it's important. We know how big a decision this is, whether it's you make it quickly like the Corings or you make it longer like Rob. This is a big decision. That's why we like to meet with you guys and really get to know you, and you guys get to know us as well.
And if I can just interject one more thing, the move in here, you're not doing it on your own. You're doing it with the marketing salespeople. I mean, I couldn't have, because I was moving from Las Vegas, so I didn't have the pleasure of attending all the meetings that they had or meet, you know, all this. So it was, a lot of it was done by phone, or my daughter was my surrogate coming to it. But when it came right down to the actual move itself, Paley, who's on the staff, she was such a savior and helped me, and everything moved like clockwork. It was just perfect. It was in all my years of moving around with the government, this was the easiest move I've ever made.
That's great.
Thank you for saying that, Barbara. For those of you who don't know, we have a full-time move consultant on our team. Her name is Paley Martin, and her role is to visit you once you decide that you're going to be moving into Summit Vista. Jason and I help you decide which apartment home that you can get excited about that will best meet your needs. And after you reserve and make the decision to move, Paley then links arms with you to really talk about what your schedule will be like, when the ideal time frame to move is. She will come to your home and do a full assessment to really help you have the resources that you need to be able to get your house put on the market and get ready to move. She has referrals for realtors, for movers, for downsizers. She's got a background in design and planning, so she can measure all of the furniture that you want to bring and design your entire apartment home. And that's just part of what we do for everyone. And so she is a great resource, and she customizes how she helps each individual person or couple, whether you lived in your home for 45 years or if you're down the street, you've lived there for a handful of years. She really customizes that. And for Barb, it was a little bit different because you're from out of state. But
So
for
far away, yeah.
yeah, far away. So Bob or Paula, can you talk a little bit about how Paley helped you in your role since you are local here, how she was able to support you and reduce that
Absolutely.
overwhelm?
The thing that was amazing was when she came over with the schematics and the little paper furniture and showed me exactly what I could put into my apartment and how it would fit. And it's still in that very configuration. So we had our own mover, so that was taken care of, our own real estate person. But she did hook us up with the movers, and again, it was, when there were so many of us moving in at one time, we had a very strict time frame that we could get our movers in, and she had it clocked down to the minute. So yeah, she is a very, very invaluable resource. People to help you downsize, that, she's got names of those that can come in and help people, especially, that have been in their homes forever and ever and may even be, not as healthy as as some others, that they can go in and help with the downsizing, what to get rid of and how to get rid of it, help them sell it. So I know that she's invaluable.
Anything to add?
What'd you say?
Do you have anything to add around that?
Me?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. When Paley came over and got a ruler out in the paper, and we figured out the furniture after we measured it all out, but a lot of it just wouldn't fit. We had old, huge couches, and matter of fact, I had to take a chainsaw to get them out of the house. I don't know how I got them in the house. I'm serious. I took a sledgehammer and a chainsaw. So we eventually, when we got over here, Paley was really helpful getting us over here, because we put our house up for sale, and I figured it would take me about 3 months to sell it. It took about 3 hours to sell it. We sold it to 3 people the first day. And so I called Paley and said, hey, we got a problem, because my room wasn't even ready. And so she said, well, let me move you up to the front of the list. And so she was able to pull some strings and get it to the front of the list. And then the people we sold it to let us live in the house for another month. And then we were able to make the move. Now, my moving company is quite unique. I have 4 kids and 4 spouses. There's 8 adults and 9 grandkids. And so we put them in a row from the truck to the door of my room, and we just passed boxes back and forth until it filled it up.
Nice. Jason, anything else around that?
Nope, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is around the relationships that you have with staff. A lot of you have talked about how you formed these really wonderful relationships and created experiences with new friends, people in your same phase of life, people that you have things in common with. But you interact every single day with all of our employees and our staff, from the people who serve you in the dining rooms all the way up to our leadership team. Can you describe that relationship and what that has meant to you?
Yeah, again, I'll go first. The staff here are just as much family as the residents, as far as I'm concerned. We have a lot of the wait staff is very young, a lot of teenagers, a lot of young kids who I kind of consider my grandkids. But they're very respectful, they're very caring. The maintenance, everything is just wonderful. I mean, just as an example, when this whole lockdown or whatever you want to call it started, and we no longer could eat in the dining rooms, and food had to be delivered to our doors. But there would be, we'd order our meal, and then there's a knock on the door, And by the time you get to the door, you open it, and usually there's just a bag, either on the shelf outside your apartment or on the floor. And they've gone, they've just dropped it off. So I always make a habit of just yelling out the door as I pick it up, "Thank you." And I usually will hear a little voice from down the hall saying, "You're welcome, Barb. Have a good day. Love you." And I mean, that's on a daily basis. I mean, even though we're not seeing each other face to face, we're at least communicating a little. The wait staff, as they put our meals together, when this first started, I think it got a little old, or maybe they ran out of sticky notes, Post-it notes. But on every order would be a little sticky note that would say, "We love you, we miss you, can't wait to see you again." And that would be on every meal, and it just meant so much. And they really care about us. Mark Erickson gives us updates 2 or 3 days a week on what the status is here, or he also tells little funny side stories, as he did the other day, about how he was trying to help out in an area that he was not an expert in. And we were all just dying laughing. It was on a Zoom, but the staff here is, like I said, as much family as the other residents.
I'd have to agree with that. They have taken such amazing care of us before this started, but since this, you just feel like your family has swooped in to take care of you. But the kids it has been so amazing to watch them from the very beginning, when we all ate in one room, in one table and then 3 tables, but how they've grown and how they didn't know how to deal with us at first, and now everything is so easy, and they're fun, and the management staff, it's just such a wonder. Everyone in this place knows your name, everyone,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
always greet you with it, and it just adds to that feeling of camaraderie and family, and it's
And home. This is
and
our
home. Yeah, this is home.
I'd like to add a couple of things there. They do all know your name, and they all speak to you, and we know their names as well, and we speak to them. But I've seen Mark down in one of the classrooms training people of all kinds of responsibilities here. So what impresses me more than anything is that the staff, they aren't the kind of people there's not one of them that's the kind of a person who does the minimum. They do the maximum, and they go over and above. And I think the training here is just, it's not like any business I've ever been in. It's just over the top great. And I think the staff is what makes Summit Vista what it is. We add to it, but if we had a staff that were just doing a halfway job on stuff, cleaning, talking, cooking, whatever it was, it'd be a whole different place. And that's what makes this place just so, it's hard to put words to it.
It is.
Yeah, definitely. This is just wonderful.
Just to add to that a little bit about how Mark and Kelly in particular find the right people. We all believe so much in this community and how important it is. Many of us have been in one way or another working in this field for quite some years. But we all chose to come here for that very reason, that not only the culture, but we believe so strongly in life plan communities and how it can enhance your life and how it can make the last stages, however you want to look at that, your last chapters, so much better. And it doesn't have to be alone in your home. There's so much more than that. And that's what we believe. And that's why we come with this passion. We love seeing you guys every day. And you talk about how it's been, since over the last month. It's been hard for everybody in every stage of life. But for us in particular, especially on the sales team, I can tell you it's probably the most difficult thing about this is that we don't get to see you and we don't get to meet with all of you wonderful people. And that's just the culture that we have, and we believe so strongly in this. We have about 6 minutes left. So Christy, I don't know if you want to ask one more question. I do want to say, in case we don't have time, I think these Zoom links just cut off. How many of you enjoy this and would enjoy more of these, just by raise of hand? Oh, Tony, I was waiting for you. Perfect. Well, we're working on doing more of these, whether they're resident panels, which we feel are extremely beneficial because the people living there are much more important than any of us being in front of the screen. But thank you for that. Christy, we have about 5 minutes left.
Great. My question is, what would you recommend for everyone who is listening in today? You know that about your experience when you were doing research and you came to meet with Jason and me over and over in multiple conversations and emails and follow-ups and visits. And now we can add, Zoom conversations to this process. What would you recommend their next step be?
Put your $1,000 down.
Move in.
Does everyone know what that is? Several of you are on a part of the Summit Vista Club. So the $1,000 is a priority deposit list, which means you're a part of the Summit Vista Club. And when you are a part of that club, you are connected with us in a special way. You are kept abreast of information and all of the happenings that are going on with us. It invites you to events that we host at our community. Very soon we'll be doing those again so that you can continue to get to know the residents, get to know staff, allow us to be able to get to know you. It's just a way to really experience how it feels to be in our community. And we feel like that is one of the most important ways for you to collect information so that you can make the best decision for yourself. And so, as Rob mentioned, it's $1,000. It's 100% refundable if you decide not to move in with us, but it allows you to secure your place in line, to reserve an apartment home when you're ready, and also to be able to join us to continue to learn things that you otherwise can't learn, that are really important to your decision-making process. We also want to remind you all to be open to coming in to meeting with us again. We have informational meetings with folks over and over and over as they're going through their research process to decide what's best for them. So I want to just encourage you to be open to coming in or continuing these conversations through Zoom, certainly, and also to come back in to have more of those informational meetings so we can make sure to serve you in a way that's helpful for you.
I didn't hear what you said, Paula. Did you say move in?
Yes, that's what I said.
Or you can just move in and, get all of that.
Hey, one little bug that we had when we were making the decision was our kids were not really thrilled about it because we had this home and we've been there for a long time, a couple of decades, and it's everything we work for. But as you know, when you get to a certain age, you realize that, my 40s and 50s aren't going to go on forever. And so there are some changes that happen with aging. And so we made the decision anyway to do it. And we've been here almost 2 years or since they opened, and my kids are absolutely thrilled that we did what we did. So I tell people, because I've talked to people and they say, well, I can't do it. My kids don't want me to do it. I think you need to do it anyway.
Yeah, we don't want our kids to pick our rest home.
Oh, no.
Well, thank you guys all for that. And to Paula, Barb, and Rob, we really appreciate you coming on and doing this. We will figure out how to get our
Thanks for
Zoom
having
link
us.
longer.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thank you guys.
And hope to
Thank
see all of
you.
you. Hope to see all of you
Yes.
soon.
I know.
Bye.
See you guys. And we have about a minute and a half left for.
Real quick, Jason.
Yeah.
Real quick, the couple that's on the Galaxy J3 cell phone, can I get your names, please?
It's not me.
The Camellos?
Camellos. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, Fran and Ken.
Hi, Fran and Ken.
Hi, Fran.
Hi.
Thank
Hi.
you
We
very much.
recognize you in that tiny picture. Well, thank you guys all for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we're trying to put more of these together because we'll likely still be here for a little bit longer. And we want to stay engaged with you in any way that we can. Christy and I are always open. Give us a call anytime, any questions. And we like to talk to you, even if it's from home, visual, or you want to set up appointments for June, July, we can do that too. Do you have anything to add to that, Christy?
Let us help you. Let us serve you. It was a pleasure. Thank you so, so much for taking the time today, everybody. Thanks to
And
our
we will-
I just want to say one thing, that the one thing I've heard about how this has handled this crisis is people have said, I'm glad I'm where I am. I don't want to be anywhere else.
Thank
Absolutely.
you for that.
Absolutely.
And we will get, we'll go through these chat questions, but see we have 8 of them on there and see which ones we need to follow up with, and we'll make sure we do that. But thank you guys all, and we'll keep you informed of the next ones. Have a great day.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.